All right. So, the current energies of daily experience for the feminine is the Queen of Wands in reverse. For the masculine, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So, the feminine, perhaps, maybe not feeling so passionate right now this month, and we'll see why. Perhaps taking a little bit of a break from the love realm, from the efforting, from pushing forward, and just letting herself get comfortable again and get maybe back into what feels familiar and what feels like a solid routine, with both feet on the ground, getting a sense of sort of floating through the air and kicking your feet, that you're coming out of April with that sense of needing to feel grounded again. If you have been experiencing so much change in your life, falling back on the structures and the familiarity in the parts of your life that are go-tos to help you feel more centered. So the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, a major arcana card for the masculine divine counterpart. And I'm getting a sense of him feeling frustrated, like things are not falling into place as fast as he would like in his life, in whatever area that's going to apply to. It's going to be different for everybody. However, since this is a love reading, we can apply it to the divine masculine's love life. So hitting up against these barriers or these walls, or road bumps or detours. I'm feeling like detours. Like it hasn't been feeling so much like a straight shot or a clear cut, or I'm feeling there's a little bit of confusion on what he even wants, and a frustration with what is being presented to him right now. So let's see what the underlying subconscious energies are for you both. The Queen of Pentacles for the masculine. I know there's a glare on these. I'll hold them up. And the Tower in reverse, another reversal, another reversed major arcana card for the feminine in her subconscious. Wow. So for the feminine, I'm picking up on this resistance to what in her life needs to change. Like what is inevitable and what she's not wanting to come to grips with or face or deal with. And it's like this sense of avoidance, or telling herself that, making excuses for other people. And the energy this month moving into May is really not going to allow her to deny the changes that are needing to be made and needing to be made at a rapid pace right now. I think that's why I got that image of somebody floating in the air, kicking their feet, like the ground isn't beneath them, and how I was picking up on the feminine really needing to institute and employ and rely on old structures and foundations in maybe groups, organizations, spiritual centers, churches, support groups, friends, family, who understand where she's come from and what she's been through, and really leaning on, and not in a codependent way, but utilizing that support system for you, feminine, throughout the month of May, so that you feel like you have the fortitude and the strength and the support to face these upheavals or changes that have been knocking on your door for a while. This is a big energy. This this doesn't really necessarily come super out of the blue. I feel like you've been not so much expecting it, but doing everything in your power to avoid it. And spirit and the universe is saying, nope, the time is now. And the more you resist it, feminine, the more difficult it's going to feel, the more suffering you'll experience through that resistance, instead of relaxing into what is being shown to you right now, listening to your higher guidance of what you know to be true and right and correct and pure and blissful on your path to your spiritual awakening, and what you came here to do and who you came here to be. Like, not sacrificing yourself in any area of your life and your love life in your romantic worlds. What you believe to be true and of the highest and the greatest good for all, including yourself. First and foremost, including yourself. So let's move back over to the masculine with the Queen of Pentacles in his subconscious energies. It's like he's wanting to hold on to what material resources he has attained and gathered for himself in this lifetime. And I feel like there's a little bit of a shake-up around those in May. I'm sensing this fear, this holding on, this deservedness, this rightfulness to them. And I don't feel like he's necessarily wrong in thinking that. But I feel like with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse on top of it, I'm getting a sense of other people wanting at his resources unfairly, unjustly. And there's a tussle. There's maybe some arguments around that, unfortunately. And he feels like he's in the right around it. I just got this sense of like 4 things coming at him, like in from 4 different directions, pulling on his wallet or pulling on his resources, his time and his energy. And like he's being pulled, in those, this is awful to say, but this is the image I got, when somebody has ropes around their wrists and their ankles and they're being suspended and tugged on. I feel like there's that amount of pressure on the masculine right now. From outside forces, but it's also from within too, like how he's dealing with it. If he just relaxes, the tension wouldn't be as taut. And he could allow himself to stretch. Not in a torturous way. That was an awful image. I'm sorry. But that's what Spirit showed me as a message. So let's see what's in his conscious energies. The Knight of Wands in reverse, and the feminine has the Ace of Cups. So the Knight of Wands in reverse, I feel like he's revisiting these old passionate relationships and daydreaming about them and pining for certain people from his past that didn't quite work out in the way that he had hoped. And there's a sense of longing with this card, with the Knight of Wands, another sense of, it's not frustration, but a little bit of sadness and hope that he could rekindle something with somebody. This horse is facing the feminine in her direction. So I'm wondering if the feminine isn't going to be hearing from her masculine counterpart in a way, and we'll see what he brings to the feminine too. that gives her this experience, some renewed hope in her heart. Let's flip these over. Yeah, this is what he's dreaming of. And he wants to share these resources, but not in the way that people are asking of him out of obligation. That's the word. It's obligation of the masculine being stretched in ways that he no longer wants to feel obligated in. And he wants to take his passion back to a place that feels good, that feels stable and wholesome and complete and supportive, to a place where people understand him fully and allow him to be fully himself with no explanation or excuses. And there's fun and there's celebrations and playfulness to be had through this Four of Wands card. Let's see what the feminine brings. Strength in reverse. So, him either psychically or physically coming back into the feminine's life is going to spring up this renewed joy in the feminine's heart. I'm like, oh yes, God, I knew it all along. But there's a sense of, do I trust it? Like a sense of her not sure if she has the strength and fortitude to go through what she already has. With the Queen of Wands in reverse, the Tower in reverse, and now him communicating these things to him. And it's like, yes, she wants the Ace of Cups, but she's going to come back at the masculine and say, I'm so tired. I'm so weary. I don't have the emotional fortitude to handle or deal with any more drama, any more deception, any more lies, deceit, cheating, whatever it is. Like, she's completely done. The tolerance level for that is near to zero. Absolutely zero. Let's flip over the middle card. The conjoined outcome energies. The Page of Swords in reverse. So I feel like there is going to be these communications between the masculine and the feminine where they're not quite communicating on the same page. There's going to be perhaps some difficult conversations where you want to hear certain things from the other person and just their delivery is turning you off from hearing the message. Like, it's still coming from a place of pain between the two of you. I'm just getting quiet to listen. I feel like this communication, though, is going to be healing. If you keep it sane, if you keep it honest, if you keep it kosher and kind, and allow space for one another to express yourselves fully, yet hold your boundary to make sure that the other person isn't pointing their finger at you. And it's a tricky line to walk in these communications when there have been situations and circumstance and a history with somebody that's so deep and can feel a little bit heavy that you can very easily tip one another off into a reactionary state. Page of Swords to me is a very reactionary state of communication. So what I'm getting at is be aware of that and understand and try to work on learning the difference in how it feels in your body and the words that come out of your mouth between responding to somebody versus reacting to somebody. Reactions come from a fear-based place, and it's from the past, and it's from a hurt place. But if you can shift into a response instead of a reaction, that's love-based, and that's compassion-based, and that's empathy-based, where there's appreciation, there's allowing, there's affection, there's all of the essentials of love happening in your response. And there's no more drama created when you're coming from a responsive place, from your heart, and being authentic in those ways, not being hurtful. Because oftentimes when we feel hurt, it's a very common reaction to want to sort of stab the other person back. And things can get out of control very quickly. So watch that, Scorpio, the difference. Just start paying attention, the difference when you're in a reactive mode or a responsive mode. Responding is being responsible for yourself and your thoughts and your heart. Reactive is just like pouring more gasoline on the fire. So let's do, what do we want to do? Let's do a Kuan Yin oracle from the Alana Fairchild deck for your oracle card for the month of May, Scorpio. For private readings, I have the information on my About page on YouTube. And I thank you guys for watching. Thanks for being here. Let's see what Kuan Yin has for advice for you this month. Can't believe it's already May. Oh, this one. Fun. She looks like a belly dancer. You see her? I'll read the back. Blessings of the Moon Maiden. The Moon Maiden with her lucky hair, H-A-R-E, not H-A-I-R, brings auspicious tidings of prosperity and abundance to you now. The universe seeks to replenish, restore, and create through you. Allow yourself to receive beyond what you have thought is possible by opening your heart with gratitude now. Let the blessings of good fortune from the beloved maiden of the moon, Kuan Yin, flow easily into your life now. So that's a message for both the masculine and the feminine with this Wheel of Fortune in reverse and the Tower in reverse. The word flow, it's like relaxing yourself enough to open your heart to gratitude for what's right in front of you at all points in time. And in that appreciation, more abundance will continue to flow to you. And it's going to allow this never-ending cup of prosperity flow into your life in a love-based way. And of course, that's what you want. That's what we all want.